Hello friends, this video is the last video on this dual movie, and that's like flipping a coin, looking at it from a different angle or diametrically opposing angle, meaning the innocent is guilty and the guilty is the innocent, and the deception and the cover-up and so on. So I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna pause it here and there so it won't be as long, and this is the last video, most likely the last video about any commentary on the movies. But all the movies, the iconic movies, as I mentioned before, they all center and orbit the same center, and that's like the concept of God and Allah and La and so on. They may be disguised or as things, but if you look closely and make a close introspection or inspection of the scenes and the metaphors and the names and the symbolism and numerology, you will discover that that's what it is really. I'm going to give you a heads up first. If you recall my commentary on 2001 Snake Odyssey, that when they travel from Jupiter through space into that supposedly heavens or something of the sort, right? That was not space really. That was battles in Europe and here and there, eventually culminating or ending in Nietzsche replacing Muhammad, the instructions and the Quran and the jurisprudence and the millions of books, and that now teaches Rabbi Nietzsche's teaching is really effective in countering that and so on. Unfortunately, there's some success there, but that's inhumane. That's the inhumane part. That's the laughing lion preying on humans and suspecting humans instead of waking them up, instead of bringing them on the train, instead of enlightening them. They've become preys for the predator, if you will. So to succeed, you have to have a predator's personality, according to Fred, naughty Fred. So here, that's what it goes. So now, if you the drive here from the moment Dennis Weaver leaves the garage until the ending where that truck or that entity in the world, the brown entity and the religion and so on, crashes down, right, is no different from the space travel from Jupiter into the final destination, where the old man, the Arab, laying in his bed and mentioning toward the cubic house in Mecca and Tal and La and so on. Pretty much, I am thinking it's really this concept of traveling on the highway is pretty much like taken from that movie, 2001 Snake Odyssey. Even the truck without a driver was later further clarified by Stephen King, Maximum Overdrive. But they're all the same thing. So I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to start explaining this. So here, Dennis Weaver, or whoever he is, Rabbi Dennis Weaver, he's 6 steps, right? And so on. I explained that before. He's now starting a mission, starting that flight in space from Jupiter to the end. He's just beginning that, right? Okay, I'm gonna pause. So here, eye in the sky means, the one that they're going after. Eye in the sky, and then you see this dark brown color, and then that's whom they're talking about, the brown truck. So this is in preparation for the war, right? Or they have already embarked on the march, right, toward eliminating Allah or God of Abraham or Muhammad or Islam or, the Browns. Okay. So the scout said everything is clear and there's an accident, but other than that, from within the confines of that world that is unseen really or hidden in plain sight, the go has been given. You know, it's all clear. Go ahead, move forward with this war. Historical context is not so visible to me. It seems to start from the beginning, but lightly, 1450 years ago, but you know, lightly. So I am not sure there is a timeline of history here or a chronology, the way, like, sequentially speaking of the historical, sequentially addressing the historical event. I see that, but not like in details. So here's some details. You know, he's given him some details. You know, the radio is talking to Dennis Weaver here, who is now going to really strike, of course, unseen, right? Although the movie tried to show you, the movie is geared or designed to show you that he's underdog, he's so and so, but no, actually, it's the other way around. And that he's stealthy and concealed, and you know, he moves about unnoticed, and that's what it is, right? So all these apparently indicate things here, like the blue truck, everybody is racing toward that battle scene and so on. The tear down, or gradual or sudden, or however it happens, that's what they just initiated at the start of the movie. Again, this is like taken from The Drive or The Flight from Jupiter by David Bowman, David Bowman of 2001 Snake Odyssey, making his way or driving wars, you know, into the final destination where they eliminate that god and so on. Even though they teach us and they speak about them being chosen and that he gave them blah blah the world, and yet they at the same time undercover they fight against him. All right. So here, like Woodman to Balboa, blah blah, they're describing countries, you know, or situations or communities. Sometimes they're saying this place is ready, this place is not ready, this place is empty, this place is with, and so on. These are the instruction implied here. Am I reading too much in that? Perhaps, but I doubt. Moderate eye irritation, meaningly you still have like not exact, precise information about the enemy. You know, like you know how much dogs like meat. You know, like this is saying that you throw $100 or $1 or whatever amount of dollars, right? And then the dogs, you know, will just come and gulp it up, right? And they will do whatever you tell them to do. In gravel, they would, right? So he starts with 5, 2, 3. You know, we know what 5, 3 is, right? The 1, 6, 6, 6 and stuff like that, right? 5 to 3. St. Louis 6 and 4, 6 to 4. So St. Louis, maybe England. The Giants, maybe German. Padres, maybe Spanish. You know, these are probably the license plates on the truck itself. Again, don't mind me reading too much into that, but there is definitely that much of metaphor in it, and meanings and real history, really, well, almost real.
The Giants 4, Milwaukee defeated the Royals
4, 3, I don't know. Does that mean anything? Not to me. It seems like number 3 has something significant in the 5, 4. And you see those numbers by chirps and jabbers or gibbers by the monkeys in 2001 Snake Odyssey. And, you know, here and there, they always repeat and hover around the same numbers. You know, it's like, I don't see anything else really. The 12, the 13, the 5, 3, the 6, 3, and so on. Not that I care really, but that's what they have in here. Texas edged the Yankees to 5, 4. Texas, I don't know who Texas is. Cowboys. So now the instruction is received by way of, I don't know, unknown ways and means. Revelation, maybe? I don't think so, though. I think private communications, maybe by radio. But they're talking about census. You know, the preparations, you count your troops and resources, and the you know, things of the sort.
Census Bureau has sent out to us all fairly late. That will be the basis of this.
I would like some information. I'm filling out my census form right now, and I have an awful problem. And I was wondering, can somebody help me?
Go ahead.
You're going to answer my question?
Yes.
Well, I lost the position.
So 25 years is probably the married woman is, I don't know, maybe Sarah he's talking about. Abraham is talking here, but that's like again, that's an allegory or metaphor, meaning that the Jewish man married to that woman for 2,500 years, but he's not the head of the household. Like I explained earlier, and 800,000 number and so on. So here is instructions, right, or descriptions of history. That David man here is receiving. Like there's 800,000 here, there's blah, 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 blah there, and position of the head of the household. He's describing certain history as well. When David man or Dennis Weaver says that he's no longer the head of the household, meaningly he lost rule of the world, right? That this brown truck, right? That whatever it is, right? He is trying to portray something evil here, or whatever it is, took over and pushed him aside. A woman here could also mean what's her name? Tina Turner in Mad Max. That she's that goddess, black goddess, and that utilizes others such as Masons and stuff like that. You watch that movie Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Okay, that's the first sight of the enemy. Now he's come and watched, come close to look, made a circle around the enemy, like, how they do that. They kind of assess or size up their enemy. That's the first, that's the first sighting of him. Now, again, I'm going to say something here, that Dennis Weaver shows that he's the one that being cornered and so on. But I do say that why he's showing you that this truck is after him, and he is the one who commenced hostilities and the clash or the encounter. That's the only thing they try to, well, that's not the only thing they try to reverse, but I believe from my heart, from history, it was really David Mann who commenced all hostilities, right? You may hear some history about the brown truck going against that blue shirt and stuff. Now, folks, they have always selective, and they create start-up points, right? Of say when there's a hostility or war, they don't begin from the beginning. They always begin from when there was resentment or retaliation, right? That's what it is. But what you will see here, what they're trying to say is that this enemy, big, right? Fast, powerful, but he's like filthy, he's like bloody, he's all, he could be easily lured into a battle, and that's what it is. To explain why that brown truck doesn't go after anyone else except him, right? Tells you that he's an ego type person. He could easily be lured into anger and hatred and the chase of the focus, and that probably he is his worst enemy. Meaningly, when he focuses and then begins to be vengeful and revenge, and it's easy to hunt him down. But that's the first sighting of him, and Dennis Weaver is out on a mission to destroy that world, right? What did that world do to him? Really, it welcomed him and made him feel at home, and became rich and had access to all the civil things, right? Civil liberties and stuff. Yeah, so they will never see that form. So he is concerned, right, about the information or plans or whatever it is being seen, because now the populace, whether it's like under that brown truck or even outside of it, they will look at him as the aggressor, right? But no, nobody is going to know about it. She assured him this is pretty much private, right? So there's guard of information. Even now, there's a whole world of communication and information, and a lot of people, the majority of people, don't know about, nor will they be able to decipher. And what I'm explaining to you here, the form of communications in a movie, really, that's a very simple thing out of like a whole world of echoes and communications. And now notice he's the way he's looking. So there are 800,000 others, and as you can see, he showed his face and like this, what is it, Michael Myers thing, like that Halloween monster with the face mask and so on. He just doesn't understand much, although he's powerful, he's fast, he's got a lot of oil, right? Meaning a lot of followers, and so on and so forth. And now he gives him the first brush, right? What that means is this. So what he did here is overtake him, right? And you may think, so what, he overtake him? But this in power play, so the ground truck was in the lead, he was like the leader and so on and so forth. This guy tried to overtake him. So this is similar to, say, subverting a government like the US government. They're not going to take it lying down or sitting back or something like that. This is similar to the communism revolution. So here is the first attempt to overtake him, like on the road, be ahead of him on the road instead of the ground truck. That's the first rush, right? Or encounter. He initiated it, Dave Mann. So, like he tried to overtake here. He's talking the first 6 months, he tried to understand that this leadership, this much science, and this revolution in human history and so on. But he made a mistake, that's what he's saying. So now he's splitting, and then he's gonna move forward and take over, all right? And he did that to do that, and he knew that is gonna irritate and send that deadly thing, which is probably animalistic. That's what he's saying in nature, right? So he wants to make sure that he, head of the family. That's what he's trying to become now. Here, the family means humanity. So the truck driver didn't accept it. So he pulled over, right? He pulled away ahead and, didn't accept the challenge. Now he's gonna show him, the David Mann, that no, this truck, that he owns the government, right? So he says meat, right? He plays meat. What that means while you're looking at the truck is that those followers of the community or the Browns, which constitute that vehicle, that rig, the oil rig, right? The truck, are meat rig. They don't have brains. Can't be farther from the truth, folks. Can't be farther from the truth. But that's what they're implying here, I'm thinking. Irish, yeah, they call Irish the same thing. Anything outside of the blue shirt, to them is meat. So now, stopping in his first provisional, now he's getting provisions, right? He's filling up and he's so and so on. He's not yet concerned about that driver, even though he tricked him into getting into a fight, like a dumb, slow animal, big, powerful animal, right? So you can't take him with brute force, is what he's saying. So you have to be. So here he's getting gas, money and other supplies and so on for his machine, and that's the Reds, right? And then eventually he talks to somebody else, to his wife on the phone. Let me go to that scene. So he says, "You're the boss." He says, "Not in my house, I'm not." Meaningly, the whole, for him, the whole earth is his house, right? His farm, animal farm. Okay, so now he's talking to his wife. Then phone number, between the phone number, the source, and the destination may mean something. But I noticed, the cleaning thing. The cleaning thing. The woman comes in, she's fat, and dressed in pink. Dressed in pink. Pink usually is the dress of, the very liberal in their business, and so on. So he probably uses that kind of influence to, undermine the Browns, right, or the truck owners, or the caliphate, right, because we know women of his kind entered the caliphate, right, and they were really instrumental, similar to Jackie Kennedy, right, and Ethel, being in the White House. Remember Cheryl in Soylent Green? That's what I think it is here. First, he puts his foot up because that's his cleaning business, right? Uh, uh, or it could mean dirt, like having dirt on somebody, right? So they take dirt from the clothes, right? So that's what she's doing. But now he's talking to his wife, and that's very significant here. You may think things of the sort, but let me explain them.
No, nothing like that.
So here he's talking to his wife, and he's reporting to her, right? And she says, "Is there did you have an accident? Meaning, how is your trip going? Why are you calling?" He says, "No, everything's still fine. It's at the start." Meaning, they're having an accident. Like, did your mission stop? And he goes, "No, it didn't stop." He's reporting back, and he wants to hear some information as well.
Just, well, I just wanted to apologize. You don't have to apologize.
So he says, "You don't have." She says, "You don't have to apologize." I know I wanted to. Here, this is probably a cover up, and then you will see the scene here as I explained it. And if you look closer, you will see that these two boys are at a situation of the war, and the woman herself here has some resemblance, very close resemblance to the waitress in Chuck's Free Man Bar, right? The one that serves him, and then she brings him the food, cheese on R-U-E. I don't know what E is. It has some significance, or maybe Eastern or something of the sort. Here they say, "Are you Polish?" And they say, "Yeah, Polish or not Polish." That means he's a Dennis Weaver, or something of the sort. Rabbi's beans. But I see puppets here. You see puppets here. So they have puppets, and then the war machine is being at the work.
No, because if we talk about it, we just get into a fight.
Okay, so talk about it, we'll get into a fight. Meaningly, that's the fight, right? I'm trying to guess here. What is that supposed to mean? Right? He's trying to understand what that means to get into a fight.
I should go out and call Steve Henderson up and challenge him to a fist fight or something.
What he's saying here is fist fight, that she, Hadassah or Esther, the woman of Judaism, right, is in predicament, in a bind, right, that he supposed to go out and fist fight. I believe that fist fight with the Brown, right, with the Browns, because what he's saying is he cannot do that, right, how could that little car of the machine of Reds, and whatever they are, right, could bump heads or butt head with that big truck and so on. And no, of course not, because she don't want him to have a hand combat, right?
I mean, I think you could have at least said something to the man last night. I mean, after all,
as you can see, war is getting ready here. Robots and so on, and you know the children here are probably adopted or kidnapped. I don't know, squirts, you know. So she's getting ready for war. Uh,
Oh, come on, honey.
he tried to rape her, right? Meaningly, he was like devastating their community. So now she's inquiring about by 6:30. You think you're gonna be successful? By that time, you know, 6:30, you're gonna be home, like a home run, right? You're gonna be walking the 6:30, or be successful at attacking the 6:30 or the 63. So you're gonna be home by 6:30, or you're gonna like get the 6:30. If Forbes let me go in time, right? Uh, like meaningly, uh, if he has no delays. Forbes, I don't know who Forbes is. Seems to me like Rabbi Forbes, the one who gets from the government and calls himself rich. So he said if he doesn't see him today, he could lose the account. Now the account here, lose the account. Although it sounds benign, but this guy, he has an account to settle, right? Not ledger, not accounting. This is like an account. He's going to settle an account with that Brown, right? That's what I'm thinking here, and that's what it seems to me like the other side of the coin. I'm gonna repeat it.
I'm getting home on time.
There probably won't be. Honey, I said there probably won't be a problem.
Well, just be on time, okay?
All right. Okay, I'll be there.
Okay, so he's got an account to settle. It's a little bit hard to understand his mother thing, you know, like to come, be there on time. So what she's saying like is like get this thing done, get this account settled. The war is ready, you know, the robots, the Huey helicopters, the puppets, and that's what she's talking about here. Is that his mission, right? She's waiting for him to become victorious. This is the woman of that community, of that world. So here you got apparel, you know, good looking, right? Women probably. Laundromat, get dirt, and then action. First you get the you smooth your way in through apparel, you know, like nice, and then get the dirt, laundromat, and then action, apparel, right? Now the fight has escalated. Dave Mann is really now working out the fury of that truck, of that edifice, of that world, right? He's working them out, and that apparently there's a positive response. Now that brown truck is focused, and he's really taking the bait, is what they're trying to say here. Okay, so the fight has escalated, and now he arrives at that Chuck's free man, you know, lodge, and where the gold is, and so on. And again, there's that man outside, like I told you, the guy with the bushy sideburns, and you know, hands, arms tied behind the back, and so on. But then here, you would think, I saw that those who are outside, including that man and the truck driver who talked about whiplash, the battle so far from the last scene here until now has escalated, and there was quite few altercation. And, you know, he took him over, and again, you know, there was like back and forth, and then he was ahead, but he couldn't stay ahead for too long. He dislodged him, and now he goes into Chuck's cafe, right? But then that man outside, he has some connections within, right? And he is not within, you know, the guy who eventually rides that station wagon. But he has connections working within the lodge or within the Chuck's cafe.
You all right, Mickey? Yeah.
So this man is an outsider. He's not inside. So here, even though he never talks to that man, but he is communicating by gesture. And as he comes, if you see that he's like looking at him as he walks, that he's wobbly, meaning I'm not doing as well. I've had some problems, that he had some problems, encounters, he didn't win all the battles, right? So that's when he says, apparently he's saying, he needs help, right? Things are not going as well. So this guy here is assessing the situation. Okay, so here the cues and the balls is basically the blue shirt guy who is playing on the cues, right, on the billiard table, is pitting people against each other, right? He's breaking up the gathering and the unity of or coherence of the ball. Say Grenada, for example, as I explained that earlier. Now he's like firing them up at each other, subverting governments, putting up false information and making people hate each other based on unfounded assumptions or hearsay or something of the sort. You know how some male people, work people against each other and they engineer fights, right? That's what he's doing here. The races and the nations, he's basically breaking them up from coherence, and then he's making them fight each other. And he's a mole because he's wearing a blue shirt, so he belongs to the guy outside. Now here he's trying to communicate with that gesture. That like demons are trying to communicate. He's looking at them one at a time like that. So one of them is bound to notice and see, and then he will verify whether there is a unseen connection or not. And sure enough, this guy responds, echoes back. So here, he makes you think that he suspects that this is the driver of the truck, right? The one that he's after. But no, this guy is actually on his side. So they just established the first communication, right? And here we go. And he knew, right? He knew that he's up to something. Or he was expecting him, right? And he's wearing tan. Remember tan, khaki? So this place here is infiltrated, moles all over the place, right? Within. Right, so the communication is now being established. This is not his enemy. That's one of his own minions or own cohorts or something, brothers. So that's the woman that I told you is has a lot of resemblance to his own wife. I don't know, I haven't looked closely, but maybe it's the same one. However, this here is giving him signals, whether by forks or something else. And that's the woman that his wife called my mother is going to come or not, right? I think that's whom she's talking about, is that you're going to see that woman who's her mother, right, in Chuck's cafe, or that's the one who's giving her information. Now, she's part of, if you see, she's part of that lodge or Chuck's cafe, right? But she's doing the menial work, right? And nobody pays attention to the guys at the lower level because they don't think they're interested in anything, right? But no, sometimes the lower levels is where you hear the most, right? And that's what she is now. Throughout, as you saw, she was looking at him like this. I don't know what that gesture is, but on the other side of the coin, I think she's wondering if this guy is good enough to make it or win this bitter fight to the end, when David Bowman makes it from Jupiter all the way to that supposedly house of that Arab, or in bed and so on. That's what I think she's doing here. So I told you, RYERUYOU E? What is E? Eastern, or maybe it's 3. I don't know. In Arabic, that's the 3 like this, or E is Ain, right? Right? Ain for Arab. I don't know, but that's what he's asking me. Are you so and so? All right, and she smiles and answers positively. And as you saw, the woman, the blonde woman is playing games and blah blah. They're busy really in the lodge having fun while they're being undermined and subverted and invaded stealthily, right? Now, it could be that all these guys in the lodge here are really his friends, but they're laughing at him because they don't think he's going to make it. And now this is the guy, I told you, the one on the right with the khaki. He gave him that look with the one-eyed monster. This is not hateful. It could be hate, it could be communication friendly. What he's telling him is, that guy you're dealing with is the one-eyed monster, right? And that's what I think, that's the other side of the coin. And that's what he's trying to communicate to him, like this, so the communication has been established, right? I don't know that language, but it's very obvious. So here he's assessing his position again, whether he's questioning whether he's doing the right thing, what he should do, what he should not do, right? But on his mind, there's no doubt that he's out to destroy that entity, and he started the fight, right? However, there are times when he's probably reconsidering that, he's got a suit of diesel and so on, so there's no fighting this guy, he's too fast and so on. So he's reconsidering, but then reassessing his tactics and dynamics. And here again, he's trying to imagine he's talking to them, and this guy looks again at him with the warning look, like, open your eyes, and he's drinking beer, like gulping beer. But then at the same time, you see like puppets here on the shelf. And the way he drank, I think 323 or 313 or something of the sort. Okay, so now this guy, as you can see, they showed his growing, meaning he's about to, stick it to someone, right? Metaphorically speaking, jargon or a vernacular of profanity with gestures, right? And then he sees him, right? And then he keeps observing him. Notice, Simmons, right? So now this guy does a gesture. After they show the private area, he caresses or strikes the front bumper of the the groins first, and then the front bumper of the truck, right on the front. And then he stroke it all the way from, and then Spielberg said this is the face of evil and so on. So if that's the face and the two lights, headlights are the eyes, then that bumper is really the mouth, right? So that's what that guy did actually. He told him, he told David, let him have it, right? That's where, feed it to him. Again, that's a jargon or vernacular of the profanity in gestures, right? So he showed him that, and then he strokes the bumper of the truck, and then now he is driving around it, meaningly route him. Okay, I didn't want to do a commentary on the whole video. I just pointed out few spots or few stints or locations where it's indicative that's what it is. From history, we know that's what it is, right? Although it was hidden in the concept of hiding while attacking, right? That's the other side of the coin, and I believe this is this commentary or explanation about what's going on in there is more credible than my commentary on the movie as it was. But if you watch those videos that I put together and then watch this one, it'll become clear, and then you can surmise what this movie is talking about. There's like evil in it's not, but it's okay in battle. It's okay to maneuver, right? And like hide in trench so you won't get killed and so on. That's acceptable. That's doable. Everybody does that, right? But to achieve your purpose by razing cities to the ground, and, hurting people and gulags and so on, that's ugly, folks. There is no excuse to that. There is no forgiving that. Well, I'm not God, so I can't make that judgment. But that's the other side of the coin. I mean, it's brief, 40 minutes, but it's enough to point you to the correct or catch the end of the thread in order for you to unravel the movie. Have a nice day, my friend. I think that's it. I'm not going to make any more comments on movies because they're quite few. And like I said, all of them center around the same thing. In Aliens, the movie Aliens, it is such that Newt or Rebecca Jordan is really the state of Israel. They always portray the state of Israel as little girl, weak, needs protection. Like you as father, as a brother, older brother, and so on. Always protect your little girls, right? They know that psychological part, right? Our weakness or our strengths as humans, and they use it, right? They always disguise their hints and notes and so on, in such things, right? And the monsters that Newt spoke of, that her mother told her there are no such monsters, but there are. These are the Arabs, obviously. Not true. The Arabs are hospitable people. They are great people. They made this world what it is. They've been wrongly prosecuted, erroneously and wrongly and unjustly prosecuted. The credit for them being the origination of originators of knowledge, of science, of thinking, and so on. You may disagree and say Greek and blah blah. No, folks, no. Roman emperors, as dated by Rome itself, even prior to Byzantine, where some of them, if probably all of them, some of them were Arabs, as a matter of fact, like Heliobagal, right, or Heliogabal, or Ilah Jabal, right, the Lord of the Mountain. That's an Arab, dated by the Westerners. The family said they were Arabs, right, from Syria. Arabs were in Syria. You may think they're in the peninsula and they weren't elsewhere. Oh God, they were spread all over. And since the ancient times, they predate Babylon and Sumeria and so on. Oh, they have been there around for a long time. I don't know. Maybe one day. I think it's not possible. Maybe one day the Spielberg Pest Control, Spielberg Pest Control, or the Snake-arama Americans, those who invent these things. Maybe they will remove that boulder from their head and just move forward. I don't know. But certainly the crimes that have been committed, whether under Lenin and Stalin and Hitler and Ayatollahs and Mao Zedong and Pol Pot and Castro and Pinochet and a whole multitude of others, I don't know. That's very hard to just overlook. Have a nice day, my friends. And I know I'm a computer guy and like transgressing on my business, like comic movies. But that's the esoteric side of Duel. Now I'm going to return this to the library. Bye now.